Coach, I'm going to start you off with the really, really good news, however. Judson Richards did, in fact, get married over the weekend, which means his bride actually showed up on the altar and said, I do.
Well, that's good for him. I'm sure they're having a good time. They're having a lot more fun than I had. I'll promise you that.
I know, Coach. You weren't. I know you weren't happy after the game. And listen, they always say it's not as good as you think it is. It's not as bad as you think it is. 48 hours, almost 48 hours after it, not as bad, just as bad, or worse than you thought after you've looked at the film.
Well, I think that we didn't play very well, and I thought that after the game, and the film obviously confirmed that. We didn't move the ball on offense. We didn't score any points. I mean, it was a bad night.
Coach, you said you were having an unbelievable struggle scoring the ball, and if you knew how to fix it, you would. Is this something that you're maybe trying to go deeper into the playbook to try something a little different, or maybe in the middle of the night you wake up, something pops into your head? Well, what are some of the things that you're trying to reverse that trend?
Well, I don't know if an X and O thing or a new play or a new formula or anything like that will work. I mean, that's not the way the game is played. The game is played by execution. It's not what we're doing that's wrong. We're not executing it very well. So most likely the best thing to do is tone it down a little bit. Don't do many extra new plays and all that stuff, and learn how to execute them the right way and have more success.
Coach, I know you're going to go through this game with a fine-tooth comb. How much do you let the players watch this film, or is this kind of one you throw out and focus on Fresno State?
No, whenever something like this happens, they got to learn from the experience. I mean, I think that we watched the film yesterday, had a lot of extra time because it was a Sunday. They're not usually over here on Sundays, so we spent some extra time. Not that we were browbeating them or anything, but they got to learn how to do some things better than they're doing them right now, and the only way to see that is on film.
Coach, listen, and maybe this is a far too simplistic outsider's view, but I live and die with the Aztecs just like you do. I'm a proud alum. It's my college football team. At some point, don't players just got to bow the proverbial necks and go out there and win? Is it too simplistic of you?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that on offense especially, we might be losing a little confidence. And one of the reasons we kicked the field goal in that game was to show our offense we could score some points and come back with a better mental attitude. But it might be just emotional. But we are not, we're not executing the game plan worth a darn, especially on offense. And it's not, if you look at the schemes that we're running, the schemes that we're running are just fine. It's just players not making the plays.
Coach, after the first half, you were tied at 3. Was that a encouraging spot for you going into this one, into the second half, or were you a little disappointed that the offense didn't put up more in the first half? Because you could think, hey, I know you don't like silver linings and all that, but hey, the defense did perform pretty well.
No, I think the last 2 games we've played, I think we're disappointed going in halftime because we give the other team momentum right before half. There was 2 chances at the end of the first half that we should have scored. Now, whether it was a touchdown or not, we should at least kick field goals, but we messed it up ourselves. We throw an interception that at least could have been a field goal and those kind of things right before the half. So I think they went into half with the momentum, and we went in a little bit down.
Parker Houston looked phenomenal coming out of the backfield from that H-back position to catch a lot of balls. Are we going to see more Parker Houston in the passing game rather than just the blocking game?
Well, obviously, if he's one of the targets when we put him in a pass route, so hopefully Ryan will be able to figure out who to go to. We want to go to the open guy, not just to a guy. I think that happened on the last play of the game. I'm not sure that going through your reads that's where the ball should have been thrown, but he threw it to Parker, who was basically double covered. So, I mean, you can't rely on one guy. You got to go through the scheme and got to go through the progressions and throw it to the guy that's open.
Aztecs head coach Rocky Long with us here. Not a good night for the Aztecs, unfortunately. A big one coming up Friday night. Coach, you like the fact that maybe it's a shorter work week? You got to get right back to it?
Well, I like that fact. I don't know if players do because obviously they didn't get their day off.
Right.
But it's the same for both teams. And, it's a big rivalry game, and we have a oil can trophy on it and all those kind of things. But they're in the same boat we are. And both teams are struggling, and both teams want to win. And so it ought to be. And I'll tell you what, they're a very talented football team. I think the second most talented football team in our league. So it ought to be a really good game, exciting and close.
Real quick, Coach, did you think by chance there might have been, because of the rivalry aspect, that there maybe was a little bit of looking ahead during the Nevada game?
Well, I don't know. I think that we didn't get what we wanted done in the bye week. I think we lost an edge a little bit during the bye week. We went back to fundamentals and techniques and all those sort of things, and it didn't show up on game day. So that's a mental issue. That's an emotional issue. That's not a physical issue. So hopefully we'll get ready to play better this week.
Well, the silver lining in this one is that the Aztecs do still control their own destiny. Fresno State coming up this week on Friday, short week. What's Fresno's film looking like?
Well, I just thought they've got really good skill on offense, and they're kind of physical, and they move around and blitz a lot on defense. I'm surprised at the record. When you watch them on film, you're surprised what the record is. But our league is like that this year. I mean, I looked at some of the NFL scores yesterday. Our league is that way. It doesn't matter in the NFL who's playing who. Someone might win and might win by a lot, or most games are close. Well, that's what our league is. You don't know who's going to win. I mean, you can put those lines up there all you want and give a favorite and all that, but in our league, it's who plays best that day, and that's just what we have to live with this year.
Coach, I mentioned the good news is Judson did get married. Even better news, he's not here today for this interview. The sad news is he will be back on the sidelines Friday with you, so you got to take the good with the bad, I guess.
Well, I'm blaming it on him for not being there last week.
Thank you, sir.
Good to have him back.
Yeah, blame him all day long. We'll back you 100%. Coach, I know it was a rough one. Glad you guys got another one sooner than later against Fresno State. Good luck against the Bulldogs. Have a great week.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good week.
That's Aztecs head coach Rocky Long.